Here we are, the second step on our step ladder of great attorneying adventures. You see what I did there? If you know your Ace Attorney jokes, you know why I said step ladder, because ha ha ha, that's funny. But yes, it is the beginning of a brand new individual game playthrough, but the continuation. We are moving on into the second game of my big Ace Attorney chronology series. We are back into the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, but if we press our key here, what I am actually going to do is go down to Select Adventure, for we are not doing any more of this, for we have done the adventures. It is time now to start Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Yes. Hey, Cat knows what I'm putting down. We are on the second step of the ladder, or step ladder, take your pick, of Ace Attorney chronology. So yeah, we are kicking off doing these games in in-game timeline order. If you weren't already aware, not by release order. We're doing it in in-game chronology order. So we are doing the olden time Ace Attorney games here, set in the Meiji era of Japan. Otherwise, the Victorian eras of the England of good old London town. And yeah, we got done with the first game not too long ago and had a brilliant time with it. I was very proud of myself for figuring out most of the game, not all of it, but most of the game with my old brain and thinking about things myself. So that puts me in good stead for enjoying and getting a good way through the rest of this series here. So this is the beginning of the second of our oldie-timey Ace Attorney games. So we'll do here, yes. Usually a hard thing to find tend to be when you have to do things in a certain sequence overnight. You should be fine. Yeah, that is just the visual novel thing, just right out there generally. You just need to press the right buttons at the right time and hope that the pathing leads you to the logical next portion of the story, and just like that. But yeah, hit the new game button and just kick it off. No wasting about the bush now. Let's just do it. And it starts. It starts in the height of summer. I can hear the cicadas, and oh god, they're loud. Oh god, they're so loud.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital.
You do miss your times, do you?
You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court.
I mean, true on that, but I'm not sure it's ended up too well for him.
For taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
I find myself faced with another awful crime. Thou again?
I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
Is that a what? You're taking on the mantle yourself here? Oh, I remember that. Jesus!
I ask for your guidance.
You did get the SWAT as well. Double murder victim. Double murder victim? What's going on here? You got the swan too? How dare? So yeah, this is... No Yunosuke for the start of this. It seems Susanna's going to be our main tale in this adventure of... I couldn't quite read what it is, but this episode 1 we are kicking off here. Oh, 30th of August. Yeah, that would make sense why I was hearing a lot of cicadas, because that would be the height of cicada season, or like maybe like the back end of it. Yeah, that'd be all about the area, unfortunately. Is she Scottish? Oh, you mean the voice actor for Susato? I don't know, because I've seen what the name of the actor is who places that though, and it's definitely a Japanese name. And the way that I heard her talking, I probably can tell that maybe English, while she is very, very strong and fluent in it, probably wasn't the first language that they learnt. And the accent is kind of still there. I mean, either that or yeah, maybe they are actually Scottish with Japanese heritage. I did this. That is something for y'all to read up on. You look up who they are on IMDb and have a look. But yeah, what did I call this episode again? The adventure of I forgot. Your Honor, I forgot. I'm gonna check that just dead quick and not have and not make sure I'm not gonna look for story spoilers. Just to remind myself what it was again, because I'm gonna lose sleep over this, and I can't possibly move on until I know. It is called the Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. That's what we're looking at here. But yeah, got that done now. Okay, and make sure the voice is back. Voice mod is ready. If we need to do some blue text and inside thinking. It wouldn't surprise me if they got Japanese voice actors who could speak English for Yunosuke and stuff. Yeah. I think they did that for Yunosuke as well. Like they're not full. I don't think they are full on American. But they are definitely people. Yeah, Yunosuke's actor is probably somebody as well with Japanese heritage at least, or is like a naturalized American, originally Japanese or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, you can tell. I think you can tell with some of them as well. So anyway, I've rambled. Let's go. 13th of August, 8:26 a.m. in the Supreme Court of Judicature in the Defendant's Antechamber 3, back into the Empire of Japan's courts. Okay then. Here I am again, after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I feel so nervous. But I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Ah, good. You're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Oh, yes. Good morning, sir. I imagine that because this is Eugene. This is father. I imagine that whatever the reason is, I think Susato is going in disguise in this. That is my hope. Like Eugene is none the wiser, sent Susato to do something like you stay at home or do something else. You know, practice being a good Nadeshiko model woman, whatever you do to do that. And yeah, I'm off to see another court case unfold. But little does this guy know that Susato is the person whom they are talking to right now. So I think, yeah, there's a bit of disguise work going on here. She wouldn't do this as her normal self unless she was actually being an assistant to someone else, but she's decided to go on her own accord here. So I'm sort of playing the voice as a result in a bit of a different way. So it's not like completely obvious it's my previous Susato voice. It's something new, and she's putting on a voice along with the disguise. That's my theory. That's my thinking, and I think I'm happy with that. Oh, I hardly recognize you. You've got a fine figure, Counsel. But you look as white as a sheet. And those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Stayed at home practicing wrestling techniques. Yeah, you gotta practice the takedowns. Absolutely, Juma. That's absolutely true. Yep. Welcome in, by the way. Nice to see you again. Oh, dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous. I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish I'd never been born. Oh, goodness. Oh, no, he does know! Okay. What gives, then? Why do this? Oh, goodness, not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. You
Eugene Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father.
Unknown voice here. Excuse me? Oh,
Excuse me? Would I be correct in thinking that you ought to be my lawyer in court today?
Yes. Yes, that's right, miss.
I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on my life. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing!
Remember me. Born the same year as I, and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the university research laboratory, helping my father. And sadly, she's a defendant in today's trial. Accused of committing a truly awful murder.
Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem... well, to have become a little flushed.
Oh my! It's just that... you look so gallant and dashing.
Sorry?
And when I fall under your intense gaze, it's... it makes me feel rather bashful.
Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am.
It would seem our little plan for this trial is going to work. So this is your idea all this time, is it, Mr. Yujin? Is this right?
Oh, what do you mean, Professor Mikotoba?
If even your best friend can't see through the disguise, I think we can relax.
Huh? Disguise?
Yes. I've never tried dressing this way before, of course, so I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. This does make me a little relieved, as you say, Father.
Father? Oh. Oh, what? Is that you, Susato?
I'm so sorry I didn't say anything sooner, right?
It's just... No! What are you doing? What's going on? What? That varsity uniform! That varsity cap! The varsity cape! And that varsity badge! Look at you! You look all over the world just like a student at the Imperial Yume University! A male student!
I'm so glad that you think so. It means all my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke up 4 this morning to make a start.
But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that?
Well, you see... it was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial.
My defense?
What gives? You made this plan up before. I want to know how and why you decided this. I thought this was like Susato just sneaking in on her own accord, but no. Turns out there's more to this, maybe.
Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Courts in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom. Despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike.
It's a different time then. Historians will say they were best friends.
But women are forbidden.
Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, and I'm practicing my voice to go along with this. I hope you understand. So that I can act as your lawyer.
Susato, you'd go to such lengths for me?
Historians will say they were best friends. People today will say, yeah. Oh dear me.
Of course. You're my greatest friend. I just worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve.
Oh no! I have complete faith in you.
Oh, Ray.
It's so strange, though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet, just because you're a woman... Oh, what a wretched reason! I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing.
Ray. Please don't look at me like that with those flushed cheeks and those doting eyes.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just... You really do look so dashing.
Yes, you mentioned that once or twice.
You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man.
I am pleased. I think it certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped and how you're trembling ever so slightly.
Susato? You do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder?
Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean.
I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I will always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer.
It means so much to me, Susato.
Defendant, counsel, court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It is time. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty.
Stand aside!
I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast. Oh.
Well, Susato, you've certainly surprised your father. Going to such lengths to be admitted into the courtroom, and with no prior experience of being a lawyer.
There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But, Father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming how Ray doesn't know how it came to this?
Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that.
And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was?
We should be making a move now, too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student.
Thank you, Father. I'm Susato Mikatoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished he were here, I wonder? Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san.
Wish them luck indeed. An unexpected start to proceedings. Yeah, I'd love to know why the deeper reason is, and not just because because of the specifics of the case. There must have been like a deeper reason for it. That's what I like to think. 30th of August, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. We're back in the room. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Remember Me. The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency. Not bothered to fix the hair back into the noble way, I see. It's long and hanging out the sides of him. Oh my god, but she scrubs up so well to be in this disguise. God, I take this. Like hell. I love it! I love this! Defense Counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready.
Ready.
Yes, Counsel. According to your registration details, your name is... Ryutaro Naruhodo. Is that correct? Very easy way to just turn it into that. Yeah, make him like that. So basically just take Taro and add it onto the U. So Taro is like a bog standard male name for Japanese people. So Susanoo is playing that she's like a cousin, long distance relative, unknown up until this point relative of Yunosuke, which fair enough. And so easily just saying like I'm gonna add Taro on the end of the name because Taro is standard boy's name. So yeah, fair enough. So your name is Ryutaro Naruhodo. Is that correct?
Sorry?
Oh, yes. I had to come up with a suitable male name for you or this little venture. So I'm afraid I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind. Well, Counsel?
Yes, that's right. That's me. Yes, I am Yutaro, he who is vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan.
It seems Yutaro may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first and not overdo it. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing any favors either. Just relax and listen.
Naruhodo?
A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. Fresh meat, shall we say? But the name, Naruhodo, would that perhaps be... you may be thinking of Yunosuke Naruhodo, currently in Britain as part of a study program. This is... his cousin. That's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers.
Any of them?
Oh, what a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused has had to call in a country boy.
How dare you! Susanoo is every bit as gallant and dashing as any of your Tokyo attorneys! I won't have you making fun of her!
Huh?
Please be careful, Ray.
Took his preeminent lawyers, all 5 of them. Yeah. It's still the early days of the judicial system being like this in the country. It's fine, don't worry about it. What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, Is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes very much suggest that he is not.
Oh, I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, his eyes are wont to flit.
And that's not good. Facepalm. Oh, jeez. Within the first, like, few minutes, she's like, why are you saying this? Stop it. Shut up. He's like, shut up, defendant, please. Shut up. Shut up! Seriously. The case to be heard on this day is a matter of great significance to our national interests. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may very well affect the very future of our empire. Just like the trial 9 months ago. And yet for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the dock? Oh, dear me. Perhaps it would be an appropriate time for me to assess the defense, to determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. Just like in the first game. Oh no, we have to be tried for our competence. 9 months ago, when a certain other Naruhodo stood where you're standing now, this same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this will be easy. So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions? Oh, the cape is off this time. Yeah.
Alright, it's time to prove myself. Ow, my face. Yes, Your Excellency.
That should have been said, not in thought speak, I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Whereas this is.
But please do make them simple.
Very well. To start with, you will state the name of the victim.
That is simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried.
What's the matter?
Oh, now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, mind's all wants a blank.
So confident in their experience, her voice boomed all over the court. She was confidently just saying it to herself, you know. It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position, and in that guise. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter a little under the circumstances.
Oh dear. This is a dismal failure.
Don't fret. You need only use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem.
Of course. The court record.
Yes. The answer will be among all the key information about the case in the court record.
That's right. Just use bleh to open the court record. Then you'll need to flip to the people section with bleh. And don't take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely.
Alright. Check the court record with bleh, and that's where the information I need will be.
I'm waiting, counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? Let's double check. We did see it all. We can have a read of them. The victim was Giselle Brett, whom was the culprit we ended up figuring out of case number 1 in game number 1. Time of death, 11th of August at around 2 p.m, ascertained by examination and witness statements. Cause of death, single deep stab wound from behind, piercing a lung and resulting in the fatal hemorrhage. Death would have been occurring in minutes. Notes, with extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, it was observed in the victim in both eyes. Okay, that suggests there was, like, substances, drugs, narcotics involved in play here. Based on very, like, limited medical knowledge of mine. So, yeah. The victim there, gone so young. Oh, no. But yeah, this is who it is. So, is this? Oh yeah, I need to put the answer by menu here, isn't it? it was Ouchie. It was Mikitoba. Now, I did cheekily look at the achievement lists for this one. There's an achievement you get for presenting both of these two wrong answers as the answer for this question. I'm gonna leave that for my own time because that's gonna be funny to look at my own time, I think. But yeah, we'll for the sake of this playthrough, we'll do things as properly as we can. So the victim is Giselle Brett.
Yes!
Oh, she hands up as well. Okay.
The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett?
A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure. I can't believe Ouchie heckin' died! Good to ya. Ah, correct. And being a member of our Empire's judiciary, you will be aware of the significance of that name. So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why, then, is her name indelibly associated with our own Empire's judicial history? Obviously, we won't have forgotten that case from 9 months ago. But if it's proving hard to recall the finer points, everything you need is included in the court record.
Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything.
Giselle Brett. Behind the woman student persona was the face of...
Queen Victoria! I picked that answer and I wonder if the judge will then say, I am not abused by this! Because that would be a brilliant joke. She's a victim now, but back then she was found out to be a killer for reasons. So we'll see.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, look at that. She's got the dex slam down pat straight away. You could learn a thing or two, Yunosuke. Come on.
9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Humane University was killed. And the culprit was... Giselle Brett.
Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain. And it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John H. Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikitoba. Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been my mentor when I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. A student of the Imperial Humane University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Yunosuke Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Brett. That is how it went down. It was all over some beef. Or at least it involved beef. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, She gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion. Immediately after the trial, the British government brought its consular jurisdiction into play. We are unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China, instead. Why Shanghai? There's a British consular court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship. And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed. Only the day before? Ah, shoot. That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle.
Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Ouchie. As is your wish, Your Excellency. The repugnant crime took place on the 11th of August in broad daylight. Oh, and a beachside onsen. How nice. Or it looks like. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut, erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung. An injury which proved fatal. What a way to go. Oh no. There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused, Remember Me. Accordingly, there can be no doubt of the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady. So, wait. But victim Brett was still in, like, her full, like, dress garb. That's a bathing suit? I'm smashing X to doubt. Absolutely smashing X to doubt. Well. That extraordinary description of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say.
That's certainly true. The prosecution's summary was full of words that raised an awful lot of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about...
Wow, you're giving me decisions already. Let's just check out that history deadly again for a moment here. Broad daylight on the outskirts of the Imperial City, a small beach hut, an injury people. Miss Brett in her bathing attire. She did not look like being in the bathing attire, so I'm inclined to believe that maybe... I'm inclined to question about, like, was it really a bathing suit? Was it really in the bathing spot itself or the beach hut? Because photo of how she was found, that does not look like a bathing suit to me, unless it's like a really elaborate one that also has a hat with a swan on top. Like a swan actually becomes part of this lady's attire as well. I don't know. But yeah, I'll think about this. We're gonna have our quick first break of the stream here, so yeah. I hope this is a nice start to proceedings for everybody watching this right now in Twitch or YouTube land. Thanks for joining me for this little adventure here. Let me know how you're liking it if you'd like to do so. And for you in YouTube land, we are going to go to a break for the Twitch stream, but we will cut out all the breaks from the highlight that we make so you won't miss a single beat and be back to the action straight away. No questions asked. For people in the Twitch stream right now, it's that time for our first mandated ad break. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, thank you for returning after we had our Twitch break. For you in YouTube land, it has not been any time at all because we've cut out all the break times, and we do hope still that you're having a great time hanging out and watching this today. If you've stumbled upon this for the very first time, or if you are enjoying what you're seeing here, make sure to leave likes and comments down below. And if you want to subscribe and hit the bell as well to get post notifications for future uploads of this series, as well as other things that come up around on the channel at some point in the future, then that is your excuse to do so. So, yeah, if you decide to do that, thank you in advance. I appreciate it so much. Right. When I go back to the history of what Ouchie said in the opening, when we consider she had a powerful motive, maybe that's the bit we got to press on actually, because why you said she has a powerful motive, but why have you not elaborated on what that motive was? Like, come on now. So let's press on what the motive is. Like, these two could be like believable. That elaborate dress of Miss Brett's could be a bathing suit for all I know. It could be just a very elaborate one. Couldn't really doubt them being alone there, but yeah, you said nothing about... You didn't elaborate on the powerful motive, so what's that all about, sir?
You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement.
Is the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand?
I beg your pardon?
No matter. Let us put this to the accused, shall we? Membani-san, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe.
Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikotoba in his laboratory at the moment.
I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility. Fascinating to hear, I'm sure. Now, another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikotoba, whose research were you assisting then?
Well, I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson.
Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago? The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true?
Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man.
Interesting. And tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the English woman who killed him.
Well, obviously, I was filled with hatred for what she'd done. A powerful hatred. Oh no, Ray! Be careful what you're saying.
The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency. Well, it was clearly a trap all along. It's a trap!
How wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for her former mentor against her like that.
I must find out more details, and something we can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about...
Ah, that's fair enough. We get a choice in the matter here. We get to press everything here. Yeah, the bathing spot. So, is that truly a bathing suit, or what Miss Brett was wearing when she corked it?
If I may, Prosecutor Ouchie.
Oh, what do you want? You fresh-faced young yokel student.
I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot.
My apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Let me just do something dead quick. I'm gonna put that new kanji on his fan through a translator and see if I can get like a rough meaning of what it could be. So it starts with that bit at top, then goes into that down below with that there. That's what we're looking for. Ah! No longer is the kanji for like meaning guilty on there. This time, it's more like just full on punish. Punish them. It could be translated as punishment, penalties, stuff like that. That's, yeah, he's going full on, isn't he? Also, I think he might be waving that fan a bit quicker than he did normally in the first game as well. Anyway. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skin's... No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea? For old time's sake, I believe. Sorry? Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply. But on what grounds would we agree to have such a request? Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. Don't look at me, Professor! It was the government who granted permission, not I! In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong. But in fact, a murder took place. I said don't look at me! It was that young student girl who did it, not I! No one has proved that yet. I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to.
At this stage, I need to gather more information, I think. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel on what he said about being alone together.
So we get all three of them in there. So in that case, it didn't matter which answer you picked. They are all correct. We just go through all three of them to move on, I see. Membami-san?
Yes? What is it, Susa? Naruhodo-san?
I'm really starting to wish we made my alias Yutaro Susato.
Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot when the victim in the first place. And why you were alone with her.
Oh, well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brett for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion, that's all.
But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there is only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn. It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life. Excuse me.
No.
Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never have an opportunity to dispatch her again. A very well hidden tutorial. Learn to press and try and get most things, or learn how the menus work, basically, yes. Kindly refrain from conjecture, counsel. I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions.
Seeing the murder of the mentor for whom she had such great respect, enjoying such undeserved liberty.
Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. You can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment.
Poor Ray.
So, Your Excellency, if you'll be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following this grim incident. Oh, okay. You get a free pass game. This print obviously shows that the big bulky dress part was removed. And the light garments underneath were probably for bathing in. You get a pass game, you're alright. Okay. Dear me. Yes, thank you, Counsel. A tragic image. As you can clearly see, there is nowhere within the hut that anyone else could have been hidden. Right, I'm thinking about that. Because the dress do be big. The court will accept this photographic print as evidence. A photographic print of the scene taken by police just after the incident occurred. The stab wound in the victim's back is clearly visible. Okay. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant. Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence.
Witnesses? But who?
Yeah, Cynthia. Welcome in. Thank you for coming in and tuning in. First time chatter. Nice to see ya. Hope you're having a wonderful day. What brings you around here? Or if you just want to sit back and relax in the stream, you're welcome to do that as well. Hope you enjoy your time here. One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt. Alright. Very well then, counsel. Bring forth your witnesses. I, Taketsuki Aochi, have been waiting for this moment. Sorry? Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. That trial 9 months ago here in this very courthouse, when that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me. I mean, you deserved it, though. Honestly, you deserved it. Ryunosuke Naruhodo!
What? Yes?
This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten! Been looking for a bit and this looks comfy, so I figured I could also say hi. Oh, we love that! Thank you for choosing some time of today. Thank you. I aim for a nice space. People come in, relax, watch a stream if they want to, and if they want to take part in chat, they're more than free to do as well. That's what we're here for. We want to have a nice space to hang out in and spend some time either as your main bit of entertainment or as something that you have on the side while you do other things. That's what we're here for, and we're glad that you like it. You've become conceited with age, Counsel, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. I'ma kill you now. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. I'ma kill you now, but I won't actually kill you. Meanwhile, you're like, ah! strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. I was just saying that to keep chat ticking along. I have opinions in this case. Nah, you're alright. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died.
Oh, the start of your mini-Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Council?
Silence! I kill you! Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head. Observe the ouchie growth. You see this seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown?
I think that the tiny growth is trying to tell me something.
I'm afraid I can't really see. Where is the hope exactly?
I said silence! Today, I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you! And my victory will be fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned. It is about to get fully... I'm not gonna finish that sentence. He's becoming an Oni. I mean, yeah. I can see that. With that, the prosecution calls its witnesses to the stand. It looks like the stakes are high on both sides of this trial. The prosecution and defense each have much to lose.
A haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life.
Yeah, right. One's gonna grow into it. It's actually gonna grow into a hunt. Hosonaga and Soseki are coming back? Hello, what? Okay, this was be like taking place not long after the end of the first game. Then this must be like a few days afterwards or something. No. 9 months. I'm silly because boat trips back then did take months. So yeah, I'm being silly. Growth makes it sound like a medical situation. Yeah, go see a doctor, Ouchie, please. I think it's benign. It might be benign. Someone suggested finasteride. Something to sort out the growth, please. The witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. Hi! I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected.
I did notice a turtle roped up on top of his head. Dude, what? Oh, these guys are silly. And
I am the next big thing in books. An author renowned for the capital, in fact, yes. Soon to be sold out, the Tentacle, I Am a Cat, a sensational success by Soseki Natsume.
With somebody like writing it down for the press. Hold them presses.
Oh my goodness!
Struggling student from the provinces, please. You needn't be in awe of me.
I needn't?
It's only natural that you'd feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please relax. Call me Soseki, even.
Yep. For the relevance as well, for the reference, if anybody did not know, Soseki Natsume here in this game is based upon the real live Japanese author called Soseki Natsume, who did in fact write lots of very famous and well-known literature if you're a Japanese student. Most of his books are part of the reading you do for literature classes, I think. And one of them being called I Am a Cat, which is called in Japanese Waga Hai ga Neko de Aru. And yeah, a bunch of other like short stories and poems and such, and some of them some of the other ones I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, they decided to make a character based on the real life author who wrote a bunch of famous Japanese stories. So there you go. Who actually did some studying of language in England as well. That part of the tale is true and very cleverly woven into the story of the first game, actually, I think. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yes. is Soseki-san doing here?
Tread carefully, Susato. That author fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun.
Yes, yes, of course. I know.
I presume Soseki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that it's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe.
Do I have something on my face? I don't know, did it look turtle-shaped?
Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either.
Ah, I suppose it's this disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present. But what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Soseki-san? Ah, well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture. On the morning of the incident, in the Imperial Yume University's Grand Lecture Hall, no less.
At Yume University?
After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the Medical Science Department. The professor over there, in fact.
With Professor Mikotoba?
Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about 2 former students who'd studied in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. They secretly spy, snapshot, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy! As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial, struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies.
Thank you very much.
Oh, he practically threw that paper at me.
The Soseki Natsume article added to the record, containing an article about a discussion between my father and Soseki-san. The debate became quite spirited, in a good or bad sense. Right, before we read, let's see if I can't not observe, firstly, the crime scene photo. See if there's probably any evidence of there maybe being a third, possibly a third party here. That is drink spillage from that bottle there. Horse swan, they got the swan too! It's either they got the swan too, or it's suggested that the lady and the swan share a life force. When one goes, the other goes with it. Like, they can't live with each other, without each other. Like, damn. That is a champagne cooler, I can see. Ice for drinkies. A stool. A suitcase of, I guess, Giselle Brett's effects and other dress wear. And then her big dress is over there. There's like that's... If somebody's short and stout enough could hide under the dress, there could be a third party and responsible for all this, maybe. And then the masquerade mask done and gone away, unfortunately. She also got a pen. She also had a pen in her hand, I noticed, or a brush, ink brush of some kind, ink pen, something like that. Okay. And then what about the article? Oh, okay, they haven't done gibberish on this one. It is all actually original Japanese writing, I see, yeah. Probably wouldn't be able to tell you anything of what this all means, simply because it's probably in old-timey Japanese, which probably was written a little bit differently to today's Japanese. So, yeah, wouldn't be able to tell you, unfortunately, what half this means. In fact, not even half, like, what all of it means, unfortunately. I can pick out, like, certain kanjis. I can there's one I can read which starts like this month on the 2nd day. So I can read like is that Kyogetsu? Yeah, Kyogetsu Futsuka. So yeah, this month on the 2nd day. Anything else? A little bit about Hito no hanasu monogatari wa something or other, yeah. Something about like this person's regaling and tales. I can see Aben in there, like learning about English literature, English language. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that might get maybe that might get some focal point later. Also, what the hell? We got a kitty cat. Oh yeah. As we found out in the mid-credit scenes of the credits of the first game, this guy did end up smuggling a cat on the ship back to Japan. Smuggled Wakahai back with him, and yep, cat sees the cat and must acknowledge. Cat acknowledges cat. There it is. It's done. All right, let's carry on, shall we?
Anyway, following my interview with the professor, the lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coasts. Those were her words. As I explained before, Miss Brett was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory under strict surveillance, of course. At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance.
Time for this one to scamper. Okay, cat, not a problem. If you need to go do things, that's fine. Please enjoy whatever you've got planned next. Please do. Meow. Is that actually in is that somebody's cat? Nicola. Oh, it's Nicola's. Okay. Meow. I love that.
And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as a detective accompanies her. That detective I am at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Hi! Thereby, the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems. It was extremely challenging to clear all other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. Oh god, still coughing it up, I see. Yeah. But fortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Oh my, Inspector, you... Well, you do have something on your face now. How unsightly. I do apologize. Does that mean you went to the beach too, Father? No, fortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, it meant that as my assistant, Vei was invited to take my place. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. But to leave her dad! I'd never seen that awful sight! Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret! Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the courts. You will give an account of all that you have witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Oh, relentlessly racked by remorse and regret I am, and suddenly I am Yoda. Yoda I am. Our first witness testimony of this game. Here we go. The witness scene. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran to the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes! That young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly! Wow. I saw blood in the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times.
Well then.
Indeed. It does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. The very moment of this heinous crime.
What?
Now, if you will recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, Counsel? A so-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments, with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What? Bear me.
Your Excellency, if you would cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more.
Oh, goodness me!
There it is, pen in hand.
Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. That's right, the fountain pen. And if you would kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency... Excuse me. The owner's initials have been engraved into the ebonite barrel. R.M. Remember me. The initials of the defendant.
No!
This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence.
Okay, a pen with initials RN that the victim was grasping in her hand. Wow, how are we gonna break that apart?
So, have I omitted anything?
Her name was Remember Me. Na 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 na. Remember Me. Fun fact: that film in Japan is actually called after the song Remember Me, not Coco. Has to happen with a lot of like films like that. Titles are subtly changed in between. Like freaking hell, Sonic the Movie 3 was literally called Sonic vs. Shadow Tokyo Mission in Japan. When the whole Tokyo scene of the movie probably takes at maximum like 20 minutes of the movie, which I find very funny. The whole movie is called Tokyo Mission in Japan, but only 20 minutes of the film actually do take place in Tokyo. I find that very hilarious.
Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel.
I don't understand. Prosecutor Ouchie of 9 months ago had none of this man's poise.
Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san!
Naruhodo...
That means... Oh, yes, me!
Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom?
Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom.
Cousin Yutaro, pull yourself together, please.
Alright, I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant. Finding inconsistencies in the witnesses' testimonies to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do.
Show them what you've got, Susato. Or should I say, Yutaro? I was often on special surveillance assignments in this disguise. I managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran into the beach hut at once where I found the pair in question. That young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. Saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she stabbed the victim multiple times. Multiple times, you say? Do you know, I don't think part of me is like, I don't think I even need to press anything of what's going on here. But, here we go.
Oh no! I just have so many thoughts swirling around in my head. It's all I can do to stand here, wide-eyed and mute.
Goodness, my dear, you really must try to calm down.
But how am I supposed to find an inconsistency in what these two gentlemen are saying? I don't see why either of them would have any reason to lie.
What you must remember, I think, is that witnesses may inadvertently lie at times. For various reasons. A misunderstanding, a mistaken observation, a delusion even.
Oh, a delusion.
What's important is that we determine the truth. And there's only one sure way to do that.
Yes, with evidence, of course.
Spoken like a true judicial assistant. During witness testimony, you can use meh to pick up a piece of evidence to present for consideration. So you need to listen carefully to each statement and compare what's said to the details in the court record. If you find some conflicting information, that may be the inconsistency you're looking for.
Yes. Yes, it's all about inconsistencies.
Once you've identified a witness's statement that appears to conflict with a piece of evidence, present the evidence to the witness with meh, and the way ahead will present itself to you, I'm sure.
Yes.
Alright then. I'll consider the details of all the evidence in the court record against each statement to find an inconsistency. I hope I'm up to the task.
Don't forget, you can have the witness repeat their statements as many times as you like. Everyone has to start at the beginning, remember? So those wide eyes are quite forgivable. And besides, there's no one else to defend the poor girl.
You're right.
I need to listen to the testimony again for the start. I don't know.
I say I don't know. The one we can very easily pick apart, I think. We're gonna contingency save just to err on the side of caution. Look at that. How many files have we got here? Oh, that's plenty of files actually. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. All right, I guess we go save it into slot number 6 to represent the 6th episode total of this, but the first one of second game. There you go. That makes sense to me. But yeah, it proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. However, Morton report stated single deep stab wound from behind. Hey yo, I think you might be misremembering, my dude. You might be misremembering. Let's go for this.
Objection!
Objection!
With that accusatory cry that just swelled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Cosmo-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes have been very, very high indeed.
What's the meaning of that menacing pose, Counsel?
I'd like the witness to clarify something for me.
What? Where? When? How? Not you, Soseki-san. This query is directed at Inspector Hosonaga.
At me?
In your statement just now, you said that the victim was stabbed multiple times.
Yes, that's right, as I said when I entered the hut. The defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon.
And yet, that cannot be.
What? Get to the point, please, counsel.
In the post-mortem report, it clearly states
that the victim was stabbed one time only.
Ah!
Oh god, hacking up. In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed.
Ah!
And Soseki-san,
Me?
you claim to have seen Membami-san in the throes of stabbing the victim.
Yes! Yes, I did! Wildly!
But both you and the inspector confirmed the same point, that there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding.
Yes, and...
It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there is no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred.
Ah! True! Then what exactly is your contention, Counsel? Are you ever going to tell us?
Yes, Your Excellency. There's only one logical conclusion. What Soseki-san in fact saw was not the moment that the defendant stabbed the victim at all, but the moment that the defendant in fact withdrew the blade from the victim's body.
That can't be! Ah, excellent work, Susato. You exploded at them without objection, and then proceeded to pull them apart systematically.
Objection!
Objection! Well, this takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in the trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection attempting to steal the show.
You're right. There were certain similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution, who has only half a head of hair.
Slander! My head is quite adequately dressed. In any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing multiple wounds, it makes not a jot of difference. What? Why not? Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first plunged the deadly weapon into the victim, that was the fatal blow. And it was at that moment, just as she had withdrawn the blade ready for her next strike, that the witnesses saw. The knife was already tainted with blood, because the accused had already stabbed the victim. All you have successfully shown with your little display is that the mustached author is prone to moments of extravagance. He's still in his wooden sandals without any socks on. Wow. You know, it took me until very, very late to realize that's how Soseki was dressed on his footsies, and he's still carrying on that same thing. Okay. I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding the blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she was withdrawing the blade, then we are back where we started. Sorry? Consider this, young yokel boy. If the student girl is innocent, as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim? And with a demon's cold-blooded composure, too. The prosecution demands an explanation, and it had better be good. Why did Ray pull out the knife?
Ah, yes. Going for the jugular.
What does Father mean by that?
Let the court hear your answer then, Counsel.
The truth is, I don't really know. They have to come up with a plausible reason here. We don't have a case.
The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could... save her life, stab her again. Yeah, remove the knife. Remove the knife, surely, yeah. Hide it away. Most logical way, I think.
I
I think it was possibly so that she could hide the murder weapon.
Objection! Objection! And yet, the murder weapon was left there, thrust into the sand at the scene.
Having pulled the knife in the victim, she couldn't find a place to hide it. So that was her only option, perhaps.
I think, Counsel, that you were ill-advised with your answer initially, and you were further ill-advised to pursue it.
Oh dear! I'm terribly sorry. This job isn't to be taken lightly. There's just so much pressure.
Okay. Clearly my logic is bad. Just because you're under pressure doesn't mean you can say the first thing that comes into your head.
I'd like to revise my answer, Your Excellency. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could,
Okay, yeah, had to be resuscitate her then. If it's all possible.
According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant.
That's correct. It's though she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining the injury.
Indeed, giving her time to take hold of this piece of evidence that clearly indicates her killer.
The point is, being a medical research assistant, Memba Misan was compelled to act when she faced with the wounded victim. Instinctively, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? It would seem this is the best we can expect of this young yokel.
Indeed.
Is it just me, or does it suddenly feel much colder in here?
Your Excellency, if I may. Speak, witness. I would like another opportunity to testify. In respect to the slipshod assertion just put forward by the Yokel Defense Council, I mean...
Slipshod?
An excellent idea, Inspector. Our young yokel hopeful has a modicum of knowledge when it comes to the law, it seems. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota of common sense.
Like, you're allowed to be specialist in some subjects, but not know things about another subject. It's called, like, you know, what you learned in your studies. It's called, like, what you go to, like, your college or your higher education for. You specialize. It's called your specialty. You're good at a specialty. You may not be good at other things as a result, but that's because you had a specialty. That's, yeah. How dare you be so judgmental? How dare he? Very well, Inspector. I will permit your request. You will testify again before the court on the subject of the Defense Counsel's assertion. Hey! Yes, sir. I will do so flawlessly. Yeah, and all the other times you've done that, it wasn't so flawless, was it? Unfortunately for you. Okay, the forensic medicine primer. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the victim would have tried to pull the knife, or the defendant would have tried to pull the knife on the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor. Yeah, there ain't no failing that one.
Is what you just said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily?
Yes. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that presents excessive blood loss. Until a doctor is ready to provide proper treatment, that stopper shouldn't be removed.
Oh, I see.
This is why yokels should stay on the farm. Even a quack
from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge. Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again knows it.
Well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see. I'll pull the blade out of a wound, so...
Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up here to behave like a bandit.
Father, is it true what they're telling me?
Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge of medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
I don't know.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe. But... could my friend actually have?
Susato!
Yes?
Pull yourself together! We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
Oh!
Council, it's time for your cross-examination.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
However, I must warn that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards.
I understand. Believing in your clients and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard.
I had no idea I was innocent. Susato was innocent of this crime. Like, literally. Alright. Gotta remember, I spent the point on this as well, so I gotta be careful. Pull the blade from the wound without thinking it could be could cause bleeding. I don't doubt that. Basic knowledge with any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife out from the victim. Let's not forget, young student did have a motive for killing the victim. Yeah. Okay. He reckons in that case I can't get them straight away with anything, can I? Hold on a minute, let me read this again. Death would have occurred within minutes. Yeah, the thing of extreme meiosis. That's gonna be relevant in some way, I guess, but at this point I can't put it to any of the statements currently. I think it might just be a case of glean more information by doing depressing and getting them to talk more and squawk more, possibly. So I think we're going to do that after we take another break. It's just seeing what the timer is. We're going to take it slightly just a bit earlier, and we'll go to our break now. If you need to get up and sort yourself out during this in the Twitch stream, this is going to be our chance to do so while we run some ads. But for you in YouTube land, still hope you're watching and enjoying this. We will be right back to it after the break because we have cut it all out. And yeah, no interruptions for you in YouTube land. But for now, it's time to take a break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Never gonna get over the fact that this man is currently wearing a turtle on his head, as if to say, yeah, this is my disguise. It's a great one, I don't know what you're saying. Tied up as well as it is. Did the turtle consent to this? I don't think it... You need to ask the turtle's permission, mate, for doing this. Like, come on, how could you? I'm actually gonna do a perusal of all the evidence first, because, oh, okay, we can't examine... Can't actually examine the pen for realsies, but we can do the newspaper. just wondering if there's anything else in the newspaper that, might stick out to me. But the problem is, it's all in Japanese and, like, Meiji period Japanese. Won't be able to pick out anything for this if I tried. I don't know, we'll see. And then I don't think there's anything in the evidence that would, do that. Or do that either. So, we're gonna go along and let him press on everything, shall we?
Hold it! Hold it! You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Does that mean if he used due care and attention, it would be alright?
Oh, I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but... The blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it, and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You just can't do it.
Thank you for such a thorough explanation.
You see, Council, when you act without thinking, the result is a bloodbath.
Back to the witness testimony, please.
Alright, yep, just saying, like, it's... A knife is essentially a cork in a dead person's body. That's what I've learned today. Alright, press this now.
Hold it! Hold it! In that case, there's an obvious explanation here.
Which is...
Clearly, the defendant, Ray Mambani-san, does not possess an ounce of sense.
They are words you've literally just said, Susato. I hope you realize this. What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba? I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense.
Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer.
I don't know, young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Careful, Counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing, as well as my rather sizable hammer, made of pure condensed bronze, it looks like, so it would deal you quite a hefty blow if you're not careful.
Oh dear, that recalled me rather badly.
That's life, I'm afraid. A lesson everyone must learn. Hopefully you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Membami-san would certainly have been aware of it.
Yeah, you saying?
One of the defendant would have tried to pull a knife out. Would there really be? Elaborate on that, what you're saying? It's a warhammer, not a gun, but yeah, it essentially is. It is a lethal weapon, definitely.
Hold it!
Alright, press this.
Hold it! The defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground, bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently.
I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally.
Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it?
Calling yourself out almost there? Come on now.
Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views.
Oh dear. Perhaps I'm letting my male persona take a hold of this a little too much.
Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument. And then you can work on the rest of the points.
Elaborates on this fact of the motive
Hold
here.
it! Hold it! Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Membani-san's nature to do something so awful.
But she had both motive and opportunity. That's very hard to argue against.
But you don't know the defendant!
Objection! And you, Counsel, do not appear to know the law. You are not the law. You betrayed the law.
Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument. not feelings.
With this fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused.
Oh, so do I.
Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Yes. Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Membami-san. Respected mentor, elaborate, please.
Hold it! Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Membani-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant to fight her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him.
Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Dr. Wilson had no time for outdated traditions. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Membami-san's abilities. Clearly the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point.
I think the idea was there wasn't going to be much of a crack in here. Not with the amount of evidence that I've got, so I think I had to press everything and just make sure.
Ah, this is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. If they knew that withdrawing the knife in the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further. I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
Susato, it's at times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals.
The fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it?
Of course. But I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail, too. I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom, so if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help.
Examine the evidence in the court record? It's an idea, certainly. What should I do?
I think I know how to examine things. You are more than welcome to say, yeah, I know what to do. I'm fine. I'm fine, thanks.
Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san were always turning evidence over and over in their hands. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail with
By the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go for the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue.
Yes, I'll do it straight away.
You will indeed. Leave the wound, I think it could cause heavy bleeding. Alright, let's have a look at what we got here. We don't have a lot. The furthest we can look in here is details of victim, details about time of death, details about cause of death, and extra notes about the thing here. Extreme meiosis was observed in the victims of both eyes. Like I said, that suggests some kind of a substance was taken for a reason, but an inadvertent effect of that could be to nullify or numb the feeling that you have, or suppress it, or do whatever. Stem bleeding in some way, because I'm sure there's some medicines that do that. Not entirely sure there's much in the way of this either. Not so far as I can see, no. Oh, there we have it now! Okay, so the game just literally had to go for the motions and offer the tutorial on how to properly examine objects. Do it in that way, I suppose. I mean, fair dues. But yeah, we can turn it around now and have a look at everything, so let's go for it. Raucous England returnees tell all. This is the interview with you and Soseki-san, is it, father? It looks as though it was quite an exchange.
Yes, he became a little overanimated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck.
Oh, I do hope you weren't hurt.
Do hope you were not injured by this. And that's all there is on the front page. So what about the back page? The back page. It seems to be all a thing about it, so what can we glean?
This is the newspaper from Soseki-san. There seems to be an important article on the back page as well.
Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. From Yume's Medical Research? Father, isn't that your lab?
What the? Let me see that. The poison's been stolen?
It's this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information?
Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there?
It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I put Ray in charge of the project.
Ray? She was managing it?
If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
We need to read this article very carefully.
Okay, poison article entered. An article specifically about the poison that was stolen from a laboratory at Yume University. Even my father, who is responsible for the lab, knew nothing of the incident about the poison. The poison for Cusco. The poison chosen especially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. Are we sure it's that poison? Well, in my defense, your poisons are not labeled too well here. But okay then. That's a new piece of evidence, which I assume can tie to something here. Okay, following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume on 11th of August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed by the university's forensic science laboratory has been stolen. Deadly in tiny quantities. Even the smallest amount entering the body either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced bottle would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect a new developed chemical. The university would need to be consulted. Why is the poison being developed? Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Such symptoms was to be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumoured to have been commissioned by the military. Cyanide? Possibly cyanide, then. See to make some sense there. Basic knowledge with the starter sense not to know. No good reason. Add a motive. Yeah, I'm just like, which piece does that... which statement does that go against? We gotta look at the article again, just that quick. I do like how they up the stakes a little bit with this particular poison, because the poison that was featured in the first game apparently only worked via entering the body via a wound, as we saw when the poison-laced bottle was drunk from in the first game. The Giselle Brett was absolutely fine because it didn't work by ingestion; it only worked by contaminating the bloodstream via wounds. So then, yeah, they've improved it. They've improved it here. They've made sure that this is actually a deadly thing. Yeah, it's not much obvious which statement I need to press this against. press this against here, so... Or am I overthinking it again? There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Could be that the weapon was laced with the substance, and if it gets you by a wound into your bloodstream via wounds, then maybe that could be a fair enough reason, and thus I guess maybe Ray wouldn't have wanted the poison to do long-term damage. And that's probably why she thought she could maybe try and save Giselle's life. Yeah. I think that might be it, actually. Yeah. Okay, we present. We will confidence save just to make sure. But I think I've got it by having a bit of a think about it in my head, because yeah, going back, we had to prove why she might have removed she might have removed the knife from the back in the first place. And the answer was to try and save a life. Try and save the victim's life. So if she was the head of this thing that was developing the poison, or she was placed like in a management role of it, it would stand to reason she would know about the poison's effects and what it actually does and how it works and how it enters itself into the stream and how it's how to administer it to do a kill. So she would have known that if it enters the bloodstream of a victim, then that is it. And yeah, seeing that the knife in the victim, she probably thought it could have been laced with this substance if it was stolen out by someone, an unknown party. So that is where my thought is going here. Gotta present this against that. No, I want to do that.
Objection!
Objection! No! There is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound. What? Ha! The yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, but he's also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified? It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume unit. Objection! The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case. But... Prosecutor Aochi, you will let the defense speak. But the newspaper article? The court cannot rely on this kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry. Counsel for the defense. I am going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion. Your Excellency? Yes, of course. Ha, thank you.
Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause.
The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says... Double check. This talks about how it enters the body to cause a kill. Yes, it would be this one. So this section, deadly in tiny quantities. Ha! The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body from a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting... If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Membami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is... It was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. What? It's still he's in his bathing suit there. Objection! This is complete and utter nonsense!
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life. And the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hot.
Objection! Oh, please. This is clearly desperation, the weasel's last breaking of wind. How dare you compare me to a fart, sir? Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the informant in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway.
In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected the poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense.
Exactly! Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it then, yokel?
Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds.
What?
You can't possibly!
From your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. But naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence.
Yes, Your Excellency. I am very well aware of that. I've seen it many times, from my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
In that case, Counsel, you will present the proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article, if we double-check the examine of the report. Extreme meiosis. Yeah, I think the notes were going to come in at some way. There was some substance abuse at play in whatever facet, and it means we get the pupils become constricted. If we read about the dangers of the thing again... Onset of symptoms occur in minutes with impaired breathing, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. There's a match. There you have it. I present it again. Sure, I must go with the case file. That would be what I think. Or I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, then it's back to the article again to say, pick this out about the symptoms of this poison. Well, let's try this.
Take that! Take that! I would ask the court to refer to the notes section in the post-mortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis, pupil constriction, was observed in the victim. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea. So please, do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the post-mortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death.
Well...
Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes.
What are you doing, you yokel detective?
In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death.
What?
If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely...
Yes. As a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt.
Prosecutor Aochi, I think you'll agree. This is very compelling evidence.
You
You, yokel student and yokel professor!
I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions.
No, not like this.
Yuji Mikotoba. Yes, Your Excellency? I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. It pains me to have to admit it. But I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly. But I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Ha! Listen to the bumbling academic. Unaware of the fact of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father. A pitiful situation for a university professor. You should have more control over your students, rather than allowing them off on killing sprees. That's totally unfounded.
Someone said to hold it.
Hold it! None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray.
Mommy-san! You stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated.
But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day.
What?
So you knew. I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was.
Why didn't you let me know immediately?
I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So I decided I'd try to get it back before anyone else find out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. The thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was that dainty Englishwoman.
Miss Giselle Brett?
That's why I decided to join a little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. She just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. I know it was you who stole the poison! Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and then collapsing onto the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes, they shrunk to tiny pinpoints.
I don't believe it.
I've got a theory where this is going. Self-inflicted in order to keep another dastardly secret under wraps. Something that Giselle knew that had to be taken to her grave. And rather unfortunately, it ended up being pretty quickly to the grave, unfortunately, in that case. Because we were so quick to find everything out, yeah.
In other words, you realized that the victim was suffering the effects from the stolen poison.
My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Breast's lips while I'd been with her. It left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. And the blade of the knife in her back.
And that train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade.
Yes. If the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I'd hoped. Really. I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time.
Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you have confessed in the end.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here in this courtroom now.
Objection! Objection! Your Excellency, do not be deceived! The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Membami-san, if that's the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed?
Well,
You have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge.
Objection!
Objection! But you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? Oh, wait, you wait. I have the knife, you see. That's what you're going to say, isn't it, sir? Oh, I have evidence, and it is very much conclusive.
What's the prosecution counsel up to? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it.
You will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Prosecutor Aochi.
Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student.
What?
I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you've brought this on yourself.
what the?
Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable. But that's removing the blade, surely, you simpleton. Though there isn't much way to prove that's the case. Not much in the way, at least right now. Maybe call another... Maybe other witness reports will come in, we'll see. This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature. For it shows the precise moment that Membami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back.
No, that's not true! No! I don't believe it. Ah!
Order! 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 Counsel for the defense. Was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom?
Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature.
Freaking hell, my dude. Calm that down, please.
I'll show you who's slow to mature.
Careful now. Susato is starting to show her face here. It is often said that the picture is worth 1,000 words, and here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence.
Okay, very incriminating. It's only incriminating, though. It is not full on. It's not full on, because as I said, it looks like either in or out, and so long as we still have the possibility of it being taken out, then we can talk about it some more then. photographic print taken at the moment the victim was attacked, my friend Ray can be seen kneeling over Miss Brett.
I can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. It's such a stark image. I'm genuinely lost for words.
Wait a minute! I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph?
Ray!
Objection! Objection! That's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention.
Oh, objection!
Objection! That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photograph was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. Ah! Yeah, right. We are right to do that. I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once. Well, I'm afraid that I can't do that. Pardon? You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. But there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown. Oh, goodness. Are we to understand then, Counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it to be fit for submission as evidence into the Supreme Court? When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you? Silence! You yokel student and blabbering professor! What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses. But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Clearly, this isn't the moment the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but the moment it was withdrawn. Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings. Indeed. Without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying this claim. And the scene it captures is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to this court. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear. Oh no! Susato, this is the time for you to fight. If what you've established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim.
Yes! We just need to prove that somehow.
You'll have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Takatsuki Ouchi in a court of law.
If I can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it.
Well, Counsel? Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph. And the truth is... I would say, do we have people in the records? These are interesting thoughts. Maybe possibly then, since you said you were roped in, who were surreptitiously submerged into the sea in order to keep watch over Miss Brett, then that could make y'all a pretty damning case here. Or since you were there, you had a photographer with you around the time as well. It's definitely between the two witnesses, but I've just got to think clearly who it might be. Just hang on a moment. We gotta clear. You can see it very pronounced on the right-hand side of the screen. Whatever those white markings are. Either a damaged lens of some descript somehow, or could be the evidence that this was a photograph taken in the reeds behind. Yeah, I can see it on the other side as well. Both sides have like a row of bamboo shoots, or like bamboo poles and sprouts, whatever you call them, bamboo plants, whatever. And this photographer has pushed through, made a hole in the bamboo reeds to get a look at this. And yeah, the only person who not only had a photographer with him was as specified by Soseki. It was Soseki. So I reckon I might have the answer. Go for it.
Ow, my face. This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to.
The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal.
What? No, you can't possibly! But as you so boldly claim that you can, please do enlighten us.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name.
How utterly underwhelming. Did you really believe that you could...
However, I am able to present evidence. The defense has a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity.
What?
Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer? Yeah. Oh, that escaped my notice here. They are exactly the same markings for whatever reason. Either, yeah, this guy's going around with a cracked lens or something in his camera shot. Yeah, okay. So based on the so I won't need to submit the photograph again, but I'd need to submit the article and point towards the photo on the front of it of Yujin and Soseki, because that feature is there on the right hand side of the picture as it is in the side of the picture here, in exactly the same way. So it must be this then, but we will contingency save just to make sure. I am pretty confident in this now. Definitely very confident in this. And yeah, we got some kind of tricky openings. Yeah, as DBL says, kind of a more tricky opening to the case, I think. I don't know if it's just because I'm slow to thinking about things, but yeah, this feels a bit markedly more up there, it seems. But I think I got the answer now. Let's go for this.
Take that!
Take that! What is that? The newspaper again? Raucous England returnees tell all. It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency.
It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side.
Ah, yes indeed. They had already caught my eye, as it happens.
Ha! What of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably. From the branches of a tree or the like.
There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you.
Now, if you look closely at this photograph,
Oh, good gracious!
yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph too.
Objection! Objection! Well, that tells us nothing. Ha! Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely. From the branches of a tree.
There wouldn't be any trees growing inside the hut of the beach council.
We're getting him. We're getting him flustered. I like it when we get like the opening prosecutor all flustered up in a game like this. And since it's always like the pain as adjacent character. It's nice. It's really enjoyable to see the first one flounder and squirm, I think.
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
The curious matching pattern that appears in both photographic prints is a result of
Surely a defect.
I'm gonna say, he's using the busted camera. Let's go for it. Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs.
With the photographic device?
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched, and that the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device.
In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera.
But there must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one.
Objection!
Objection! I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Aochi, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article.
A newspaper? Ah.
That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime.
Wah! Yeah, I love it when we get him squirming like that.
Many memo! Was that what it said? Many memo?
Oh, was you saying something? Okay. Many memo! I see why you were called a raucous England returnee.
What are you yelling about? You've already testified!
It's many memo, I tell you! Many memo!
Many memos. Crying out loud, my game, my dude.
Many memo!
He gives a wink after that and the glint appears in his eye because it's like... Oh god, the game's inadvertent sexy man. Let's not do that. Let's not do that, please.
Soseki-san? What was that? Did you say many memo?
Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoryu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Right-Ten Many Memo. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk.
Firstly, ouch, that name hurts me in the pit of my soul. This style will go hard for a VTuber model. I reckon you could definitely capture that in the way you draw the features. And then how you decide to rig it up, you could either 2D or 3D it, I suppose. Yeah, you reckon so. I know that this is I think this is, yeah, the first game of Great Ace Attorney, Great Ace Attorney Adventures, might have been the first game in the series at the time to start using motion capture for animations. Because I know that, because that game comes out in between Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. Dual Destinies has 3D models, but doesn't have custom and it doesn't have mocapped animations. Great Ace Attorney comes out and does have mocapped animations in a bit of a way, and then Spirit of Justice comes out, which is the mainline Ace Attorney game that is the first to have motion capped animations. So yeah, if you take out the model of somewhat, or make a model of a similar sort of stature and similar design, I bet you could do that. Yeah, 3D style model for your VTuber. I see how that makes sense. With pre-programmed animations that copied the absurd movements. Yeah, if you were good enough to do that, yeah, possibly you could. But yeah, the name absolutely hurts my soul. Write in many memos. Just... It's brilliant, but I hate it.
Ah! Now that he mentions it...
They secretly spy, snapshot scribble stories, and scupper my privacy!
Could that same reporter be?
A camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right! Here I am! Stuck it. I was in the middle of calling that line, holy shit! There I am, stuck in the middle with Write and Many Memo. So you're saying that this picture was taken by Many Memo? Yes, my lord, your excellency, Esquire. Officer, find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime.
Oh, yes, your excellency.
As you say, your excellency. And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. You will solicit the assistance of the Imperial University's medical department for the task. Understood? Meh. Many memo.
We're all crying out the name now. So it says to be continued there. This editor uses too many words. Brilliant though, yeah. Alright, we save the current progress and take this into the slot there. I'm gonna go out there. We'll go for a little bit longer, but I noticed that we're approaching an ad break time. We're gonna find a decent time to do so, or is right. Maybe right now is a decent time to do so, actually, because we're about to start up a new section. I think we'll have the stuff we talk about in the recess, and then when we come back for the next stream of this, we will have it be in a carrying on from when we go back into the courtroom again. Mine's not as good. It's not as good. Well, you tried. I see what you tried to go for there. Absolutely. I'm trying to think of one now. See, it needs to be into a... The only reason it works so well in this game is because of the heavy Japanese theming. So yeah, all the Japanese names that come up, and they can you could make up a funny name like that so easily. It's like that. But yeah, anyway, this is where we're gonna take another quick pause to run some ad breaks for people in the Twitch stream. Don't worry, in the YouTube video, you'll be right back to the action afterwards. No break in between, because we'll have cut all of that nonsense out. For people in the live stream, it's time to go for our mandated ad breaks to get rid of those pre-rolls. I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Here we are. Welcome back, everyone. This is probably going to be our last little stretch of the stream, as I have talked with people beforehand about. I think we'll bring this on until we get recalled into the courtroom again, and that's where we'll pause it. But yeah, I hope you're still enjoying this, both in Twitch land and YouTube land. If you're in YouTube land currently enjoying this, please do let me know if you want to by leaving your likes and comments. down below as well. If you want to if you want to do a subscription as well, and maybe hit the bell to get the push notifications of future uploads. If you want to catch up and continue watching and enjoying this series as it gets put onto the channel, please consider doing so. Would mean a lot, and it would help me out a lot as well. So yeah, consider that. Thank you. Thank you in advance if you do. But anyway, after a nice and action-packed first session in the courtroom, we now find ourselves here. 30th of August, 10:41 AM, Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3.
I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin.
Ray,
You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone.
No, that's not it at all. I was just... I was scared of my failure coming to light. That's all. So I'd hoped to retrieve the substance from the English woman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence. That you'd stand by me to the last.
yeah, I remember.
And yet, I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato! I deserve it! No, in fact, throw me to the floor! No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets!
I'm no better, you know.
Oh?
Even though in my heart, I knew that you'd pull the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. It was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you.
Susato.
I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be on your side, I betrayed your faith in me, too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer.
Oh, no!
I think the situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task. Are we being like, sus, right, yeah,
Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray,
Yes?
can you find it in your heart to forgive me?
Oh, Susato. You know, you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now.
Oh, Ray.
We are not beating the shipping allegations, are we?
I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying.
Susato can see clearly now the rain lies have gone. We are having a very, very good go with these puns today, aren't we, DBL? I appreciate it. Very nice.
I know it was you who stole the poison! Oh, well now. Whatever do you mean? And then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. It all happened right before my eyes.
And you were the only people in the hut at the time?
That's right. Just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else. So I just don't understand how she could have possibly been stabbed like that.
A great mystery indeed.
still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up.
It'll be alright. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you said you saw is true.
Ah, spoken like a true Mikotoba. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order.
Yes. I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now.
The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory-synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it.
Oh, I see.
Yes, without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect toxin.
Chemical reagents?
I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case.
Alright, I got some chemical reagents. A special indicator solution for a new poison under development by my father's team. It's been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory. I see.
What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet.
It's this newspaper article. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret.
It was all the English woman's doing! Well, it was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swarmed in, and without any compunction, said to Professor Mikotoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guests would love to hear about your work and that substance there."
It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
So then, Soseki-san knew about the poison?
Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too.
This many memos-san. By the way, did the reporter join you at all when you went to the beach?
Oh, no. I don't remember the reporter being there.
Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there.
Oh?
A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet
he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph.
That he did. Allegedly.
And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police.
Oh!
Yes, that must be what happened. Counsel! We've just heard that a new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed into the courtroom at once. It's time to steel ourselves once again, then. Gird thy loins. Defense attorney, Yutaro Naruhodo.
Yes! Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
And I am thusly sure we will get around to doing so, but I'm gonna leave this on the cliffhanger. 13th of August, 11:30 AM, Supreme Court of Judicature in the courtroom. But we are now saving at this current moment. sorry to leave it on the cliffhanger like this, but you know, your girl's still got work day to go to tomorrow, and thus should probably get a roughly early night in. But we'll wait and see. For now, though, that's been the intro, the first part of our Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve series. I hope it has been intriguing. I hope it's been enjoyable, everyone. It certainly has been for me. Kind of needed to really rack my brain over some things, but just, you know, pay attention more and put everything a bit closer together, and you know, the connections and the inconsistencies eventually come together if you just use your brain a little bit. So I'll get there. I'm sure I'll get there. And surely I will still have fun doing so. We will continue in case number 1 when we return in our next episode. So I hope whenever that happens, you can join me for then. Thank you for watching in YouTube land. Reminder again, if you liked what you've seen, go ahead and subscribe down below. Would help me out a bunch. Click the bell as well to get push notifications of all the future uploads for this series and more coming up very soon on the VOD channel. And everyone else in this Twitch stream right now, hope you've had a wonderful time with me. If it's just been a short time or a long time, maybe even this entire stream, thank you for joining me for it. I hope we have improved your day. I hope we've made you smile and laugh and giving you a good time tonight in whatever capacity. Yeah, reminder that you can check out the VODs after this for Twitch peoples. We will have this VOD ready on the YouTube channel a week afterwards, so stay tuned in a week's time for this to be ready on YouTube. But in the meantime, we have more coming up next time. Thanks for tuning in. Stay and stay awesome, everyone. I do love and appreciate you so much. Cheers for coming in. Cheers for checking out the video. And hopefully, I'll see you for some more. Until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves.